Hello, this is the makeup video for drawing the 1 point perspective landscape. So what you'll need is a piece of practice paper, a ruler, one of these straight edges, pencil, and then something to blend with. You can borrow one of these, but you have to return it, or you can use a rag. So to start out, we're going to put a vanishing point halfway or all the way across, and we want it to be not in the middle, maybe up just a little bit. Let's see, that is about a little bit less. Maybe move it down a little bit, maybe make it about 4 1/4 or so. And draw your line across. Oops, that's okay. And then we are going to put in our vanishing point about a ruler's length over, right about here. Put the sides of the road. We're going to put those so that it goes off the edge of the page over here. So up to the vanishing point. And same thing over here. I need to use my straight edge because it's not, the ruler isn't long enough. So lining it up with the vanishing point and have it go off the edge. All right, now this is when you should have me check it before you continue. So pause the video and show it to me to make sure that you are off to a good start. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to put the lines on the side of the road. So I'm just gonna do this right about here, just make it a little bit wider. Do that on both sides. And we're gonna introduce some atmospheric perspective, which means that as things go towards the horizon line, towards our vanishing point, they're going to start to fade. So I'm going to shade this in down here. And as I get closer to the vanishing point, I'm going to use less pressure so that that kind of fades out. And then we want this part to fade like completely. So I'm going to use the eraser to fade that out gradually so that our line starts thick and gets thin and lighter. So something about like that. And now we're going to put something in the middle, so about halfway right here, which is at the 9-inch mark. Doesn't have to be exact. We're going to put one line, second line, so that this thickness here is about the same as these lines here. And then I'm going to make sure that your ruler is parallel to the bottom of your page. I'm going to make a little line like that. Go up a little bit. Making sure it's parallel. Make another line. And start making these lines closer and closer. And eventually we're not going to be able to see it. And we're going to shade in every other section. So I'll start with this one, skip, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then we can't see the rest. Going to erase here. And then fade the rest of that. All right, so we have the sides of our road, and we have our dashed line down the middle. And now we're going to add in the background. But before we do that, this is an excellent time to pause the video and have me check your work. All right. So we're going to put some mountains in the back. Now, a lot of times people just want to make like triangle mountains, but those don't look very realistic. So instead, what we're going to do is make more natural looking mountains by using kind of a shaky, twisty kind of line. So I'm going to start at my vanishing point. I'm holding the end of my pencil, and I'm just kind of making sort of a jagged, jiggly line up. And do the same thing on this side, kind of twisting, shaking the line as we go. And I'm going to shade that in. And use my blending stump. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Blend. Okay, and oops, let me fix something here real quick. Okay, sorry. I didn't know that the autofocus was on. All right, now we're going to add a closer layer. So I'm going to take a step away from my vanishing point, and I'm going to make another kind of jagged line, maybe a little bit smoother. And I'm going to shade that one in a little bit darker. Because as things get further away, they get lighter in value. This is closer, so it's going to be a little darker in value. Kind of a little foothill section there. And we'll add another one, taking a step away from the vanishing point, adding our foothill and shading that in a little bit darker. Alrighty. All right, so now we're getting a little bit of sense of depth, a little bit of atmospheric perspective in there. Okay, let's finish up our background by adding in some sky. So I'm just going to use the lead that is already on my stump to darken the sky a little bit. And as clouds get further away, they're going to get smaller and they're going to get lower down. So I'm going to use my eraser to erase in a cloud shape. That's not really showing up, so I'm going to just give it a little bit of definition. So this is up in the sky, so it's a little bit bigger. And then we have some lower ones down. I'm going to make this one kind of come a little bit behind the mountain. Those are really hard to see. I know. I'm going to add some white and then a little one here where it's furthest away. And I'm just going to shade the sky just a little bit darker so I can see that better. There we go. Now we can see it. And just to make them pop a little bit, if you wanted to, you could add some chalk. Thought I had some, but I don't have any on hand. Where did that go? Oh well, that's okay. You can see them enough. So this is a great time to have me evaluate your drawings so far. Let's continue. Now we are going to add in some trees. So to start, I'm going to draw a line straight down, just below the top of my mountain, down a little bit above this part here. Draw another line and make a curved bottom. Go ahead and color that in. Going to add some lines, alternating sides, and getting a little bit smaller as they go up, and just thicken those where they join the tree. And then add some twigs. This is a good place for some kind of jiggly lines, twiggy kind of lines. You can add Y shapes, so add one twig and add a little bit more off of it. And then we can add some clusters of pine needles to that. You can make it detailed like this, or you can just kind of make some sort of jiggly kind of mass of spikiness to kind of indicate that there is some stuff on there. Just kind of depends on how close it is and how much detail it needs. I'm just going to leave that kind of bare up in the top there. All right, so just kind of a basic bare, not very healthy looking tree. And now we're going to add some more in the background. And we want them to get, to look like they're going off into the distance. So the tops of the trees is going to get lower and the bottoms of the trees is going to go up as we go into the back. So I'm going to put my ruler here just to remind me roughly how tall the trees are going to be. So it doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to add another one here. A little bit less detail if it's farther away. Some scribbly lines. That looks terrible. Let me clean that up a little bit. I want to fade it just a little, blend it into the background, just a hair because it is farther away. So we should have a little bit of atmospheric perspective on there. Maybe I'll add another one right next to it, little baby. Smaller tree. And another one here. And this far away, it's just going to be kind of a fuzzy triangle. That's another fuzzy triangle here. Put one here. One here. So you're going to add these yourself. Okay, so we have some trees going off into the distance. And let's put a big one up close. So we're gonna draw an ellipse, which is a squashed circle for our tree trunk. Have it come up. Does not need to be a perfectly straight line. And we're not gonna be able to see the top of this. I'm gonna erase this hard line behind here. It will show through if I don't. And start shading that in. All right, I'm just gonna blend this to get some even values for my tree. And kind of rough up the bottom a little bit where it goes into the ground. And I'm going to put a shadow right here on this one side. This is just a sketch, doesn't need to be super detailed. And just keep building up that value. Add a branch. Okay. And now we're going to shade in the ground. It's going to be light up in here. And you can just shade right over your trees. Don't bother trying to shade around them. Just lay down some values. And they're going to get darker as we get down to the bottom here. And some shadows. Can darken one side of our trees, give a little bit of volume. All right, so make this whole thing a little bit darker. Okay, good time to check in. And now on your own, you are going to finish this side of the drawing. You can add in some other kinds of trees. You can, put a different style of tree. That part is up to you, but you're going to finish this, and then you'll be done.